Hey guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions. Joining me back to the show is Darren Saul. Darren was on probably nearly 3 years ago now, Darren, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's good to be back.
You're more than welcome. So we're going to take a little revisit into, because we've covered Walmart before, so most people know all the basics and stuff. Like if you want to quickly go through any key setup bits, we can cover that, and then we'll get into the more juicy stuff with comparing. I can talk on the A9 side if you like. We can talk about how the badges work, ranking, and we can talk about Omni management and the best effective ways, if that works for you.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. I think just diving in at a basic level, quick 60-second overview. I'm sure as most of your audience is familiar with, there's several ways you can sell on Walmart.com, right? There's the owned 1P channel, which you can do either owned with the merchant or DSV, which is dropship vending, or you can do the marketplace, which I know is a hot topic within the seller community right now, which is the equivalent of 3P side of things. So several different ways you can get set up and selling on the platform.
Yeah. Do you want to give the audience a quick background on yourself and what you do so people are familiar again?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm fortunate to be CEO of Vendo. We're an agency that does both Amazon and Walmart.com and some other platforms as well. We got a team of 80 plus experts. A lot of the knowledge I've gained is from learning from our team, superstars. We've recruited a lot of former Walmartians to help as Walmart woke up a few years ago and realized they had a website. So we had to put some real service offerings against it. But we focus as a digital performance marketing agency across both of those channels specifically.
Yeah, with like 150 clients, I mean, I know that that's still quite a large data set. Of the guys that you've got, what percentage are they seeing across going? Because a lot of people will either sell on Amazon or 25% of their revenue will come off of third-party platform, but in the main, it's standard to be Amazon.
Yeah, we get that asked a lot. We actually talked, because we're an exclusive partner, one of the agencies of Walmart. And so with that partnership, we asked them internally, hey, we get asked a lot, if I'm on Amazon doing 100,000 a month, what percentage can I expect to do on Walmart as a percentage? And it's across the board, depending on the category. It ranges anywhere from 6 to 12%, depending on what category you're in. But it is taking a lot of effort from marketing and advertising to really push growth on the platform. I'd say the biggest source of growth, if you're on Walmart.com, comes from your Omni relationship, meaning you're online and in store at the same time, because of what's fueled the majority of their growth is order online and pick up in store from an e-commerce standpoint.
Cool. So obviously what people really want to know about is key. Once they're on the platform, gaining visibility. Let's talk a bit about the differentiation between not how the algorithm works, because there's no guarantee to know exactly, but observations. Let's start there. What do you see in terms of ranking on Walmart and when you're deploying campaigns? Let's walk through something like that.
Sure. So let's start with the organic side of the algorithm on Walmart. The biggest difference I'd say between Walmart and Amazon is the fact that the merchant on the Walmart side can actually affect your ranking on search in Walmart. And what I mean by that is they can pin you for certain search terms at the top of the page. Let's say you're not showing up in search for Danny's widgets as a branded search term. The merchant, if you have that relationship, can pin you to the top of search for Danny's widgets, and nobody else is going to show up at the top of search for that, as an example. They can also pin you for some non-branded search terms, which they do for a lot of P&G companies, let's say cleaners, right, wipes, or generic toilet paper, things like that. So big difference there is the fact that there's actually a human that can affect the algorithmic change on the Walmart side versus Amazon, where we know there's a very complex formula that I know you've dived into quite a bit for your audience too.
Yeah. So when we talk about pinning, like, is it just luck of the draw, or is there something that drives the mechanism behind it? Or is it a cost? Is it a pay to play to get pinning? How does that break down?
Yeah. So it's not necessarily pay to play. It's if you're in store, if you have that, you have a relationship with a merchant over there. You can, assuming you can get a hold of the merchant, you can get them to pin you if you know how to ask and know how to do it. That's why we recruited a lot of former Walmartians, because they actually know the systems on the back end. It's funny, Danny, a lot of the new Walmart associates, they don't even know how to use their own internal tools, which is surprising. We've actually done training for them in their offices to do that. And so it is pretty easy to do it once you know how to do it, meaning know which buttons and how to set it up. But it doesn't cost anything. It's about relationship management with the merchant. And they typically do it if you're a large in-store brand or investing heavily in Walmart Connect to do things in store and promotional activations.
Yeah. So let's just say you're launching a brand new product. You're already running it on Amazon, right?
Yep.
You're looking to migrate, bring over some of your products to the platform. Where does the product research start for an Amazon seller looking to execute on Walmart? Because they may not want to bring over their whole catalog, right? They want to go, well, what is going to be the most viable on there and the impact on taking away sales from Amazon?
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot to consider there, right? So
a lot.
Yeah, there is, because for instance, on Walmart, as we know, there's no ongoing fee. So if you can start with the basics, if you just want to get additional exposure to an audience of, 200 million shoppers a week that shop Walmart, you can set that up at no additional cost except for the commission rate you pay to sell your items, assuming you're not enrolled in WFS or paying any additional marketing fees. So if it's just a strategic play of, hey, there's just certain items I think would work best for Walmart, you could research on the platform. There's still a lot of wide open spaces in certain categories, toys, pet, home and kitchen, where it's untapped in terms of like really true market potential. I would say supplements and grocery are getting heavily populated on the Walmart side because that's been their focus, at least grocery anyway. So when you're doing the research, I would argue, just like on Amazon, the higher barrier to entry items are still going to be your most successful to a point, because the Walmart consumer is still very price conscious.
Yeah. Okay. I understand that. So we get into launch mode. Do you like? I'm going to be hands up here. I have no clue about Walmart. Don't know how it works. So I'm going to relate that all to Amazon. So we've got bestseller badges and Amazon Choice, and we've got coupons and stuff. So what can you deploy in terms of marketing tools on the Walmart platform that actually gives you that additional, outside of pinning, the additional visibility? Is there a correlation between that and organic ranking, et cetera, et cetera?
Yes. So let's say you're just a marketplace seller. You're launching on there. You don't have a merchant. You're not in store. You're not fortunate to have that relationship yet. One of the easiest ways we're seeing is Walmart has released and made more complex their sponsored ad platform. Yeah. So just like how you do sponsored ads to launch on Amazon, typically with obviously other different strategies, Walmart now you can do that and overcome some of that pinning and placement by getting some of the top sponsored search placements on Walmart, utilizing just simply their advertising, availability or tools that they have. Their actual advertising platform, self-serve, is awful. Yeah. You can't optimize your campaigns. You can't do a lot with it. So we've chosen to partner with a third-party provider, and it opens up a whole bunch of data and tools to optimize those campaigns, to launch on site properly. So as an example, Amazon has headline ads. Walmart just recently opened up search brand amplifiers to only 1P sellers, which is the headline ad equivalent. And you can run now search brand amplifiers in certain categories because it's now category by category. Eventually, they'll open that up to more sellers, to marketplace. A lot of that's going to come down the pipe. I would say, Danny, the beauty of Walmart.com today is if you've been doing Amazon for as long as we all have, I almost see it as like we see the future on Walmart. Right. Yeah. We know what's coming down the pipe. Walmart is going to open up brand stores. They're going to open up more self-survey plus content. They're going to open up coupons, discounts, subscribe and save. All things they have in the pipe already that we've heard rumors and rumblings about to help sellers launch better. Yeah. But today, without a heavy brand awareness, I would say sponsored ads, and then you can do some external marketing traffic back to Walmart as an additional launch play as well, as they open up more and more opportunities to track attribution.
Yeah. So what does high velocity look like on Walmart from that point of view? Let's just say we know it's only a smaller percentage, 6 to 8% compared to Amazon. But what constitutes high velocity? Is there products that are doing 100 units a day online, or high velocity is 20 units? Look, it's an interesting question because by category, it can be depends. So we have clients that are doing, a couple of $1 million a month on Walmart.com in certain, even in hardlines categories. And then we have some that, to your point, are just doing maybe 15, 20 units a day. The problem is Walmart's data set, if you're an Omni, going back to an Omni relationship, if you have a product in store and online, so it's available for order online and pick up in store, those sales are actually aggregated into your store sales. So your .com percentage is actually higher as a percentage of your total sales if you have a store product, because the customer journey started online. But sellers are not able to achieve that just yet.
you have to manually try to break that out. It's coming. Walmart's got a new platform called Illuminate that's going to release a lot of customer data and give you more insights. So we're excited for that. It's in beta right now. But for the time being, it's hard to track that. So I'd say good velocity is somebody on Walmart who's selling, if you can get up to 10 to 15% of your Amazon business on Walmart, you're doing really well.
Yeah. So when you're going through this whole process, so you're launching a product onto Walmart, what are some of is there any kind of red tape? With Amazon over the years, we've seen the changes in legislation. So the moat gets more and more difficult to penetrate. Even though they're a little bit behind technology-wise, what you said, the tools are not as great. What's it like to literally get onto Walmart and get underway pretty quick, or do you have to go for a long verification process? Or
another great question, because it is cumbersome to get. So every application to sell on Walmart Marketplace is reviewed by a human. It's not like an automated process. Yeah. There are instances where you might have applied years ago and it got held up because of a wrong EIN or something to that nature. Mm-hmm. That's why we have a direct partnership with Walmart Marketplace to help troubleshoot applications through the process. So you can apply directly on their site. It's a pretty standard form. It's just a lot of administrative information about your company, your shipping rates, the general ownership, banking, etc. And then it takes anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks to get that approved and passed through, if it's approved by Walmart. If it's not approved, they very rarely tell you why, which is why working with
sounds like Amazon. Yeah,
exactly. That's exactly right. But I would say with Walmart, it's even more of an enigma. For Amazon, you can figure, hey, did I do my utility bill correctly? Did I, match up my E9 banking? With Walmart, it could be because the ownership changed 2 years ago when you filed the initial application. They have it on file and it's not reconciling with each other. Like, there's so many granular ways where that doesn't gel for them as well. So the long-winded way of saying, you apply on site, like we have an application process like any agency does, or you can reach out to them directly. It's pretty easy to find them on LinkedIn. They're very open to working with new brands to the platform. So there's a myriad of different ways you can do it. I would say once you're up and selling, getting into WFS is just as difficult as actually getting your selling application approved once you're on the platform.
Yeah. And I'm just looking at Walmart now because I haven't looked at it in years, if I'm honest. Yeah. So
by the way, they just redid the site end of last year. They merged online grocery pickup and ship to home into one platform about September, October of last year under a project called Project Glass was what they were working on to do it.
Yeah. Now I'm looking at it now. I'm not, I've got to be honest with you. I know, we're talking about Walmart today. It doesn't matter what it looks like, but I'm looking at the site now and I'm like, you just said it had a new design. It doesn't really look like it's in the 21st century at the moment.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's the advantage, right? So if we think about how Amazon looks and you think of the color scheme and stuff, it can look quite convoluted when you look at the product page and stuff. There's so much shit going on, but it works because of high level conversions and everything else. So sometimes from a conversion optimization point of view, stuff doesn't have to look great to convert. If you're measuring well on the back end, you find what works, right? Because it's about a feedback loop of optimization. So I'm seeing so there's homepage. I'm looking at here. There's sponsored ads here, service and department. So they've got pretty much the same setup as Amazon here as it breaks down for a tree configuration. But going back on point in terms of the ranking side again, like you're under the cosh with your clients. It's like, we're going to launch this product. We want to get organic ranking. Yes, we're going to run paid ads and stuff like that. But what does that look like? Do you use a coupon code, or isn't any coupon codes yet unless you're in a specific area? Or
so Walmart considers themselves EDLP, everyday low prices, and they have yet to release coupons as a feature on site. They're testing subscribe and save very early on with like their supplements category. It's kind of hidden. But so no, I think you have to launch with your advertising portion there. If you're in store, a big way to rank quickly because of the change. So Walmart used to have two hallways, which was you can go to ship to home or grocery pickup. And it was like a completely different site experience for both. Now that they've merged the two, which is what you're seeing, kind of a mess on the homepage there. If you've added something to your cart, So like if you're shopping for grocery and you added a certain type of orange juice to your cart, like once you're in that cart, that is the best way you can earn replenishable ranking as well as order management by doing that. So we have figured out with some third-party companies to launch, hey, we can help them through app integration, how to add to cart very quickly to organically rank a little bit faster. So
okay, so that plays a big role in the algorithm, like A9. Add to cart, like it's considered a microcredit, right? But it's a very powerful signal. So add to cart is heavily featured on there as well.
Correct. The difference is with Walmart, because a lot of people utilize it mostly for grocery, like order online and pick up in store. Because it's in your cart, it's not just a ranking factor, but it's also the fact that when you go to reorder again, you're just going to see those items right away.
Right. Okay.
As recommendations.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got to look at Walmart realistically as a long-term view that runs alongside of Amazon, but in, you know, like the 80-20 rule in sense that, you know, where you spend your time distribution. How much of it, and nothing's really automated in this world, although we use tools to automate, there's still grunt work and work to do and think, you know, mental power to elicit there. What are you, what does that look like a day-to-day running alongside of an Amazon business? Like, what is the waiting time that you invest in Walmart on your daily? Once you've launched the products, like with Amazon, a lot of it's front-loaded, but then you're dealing with all the bullshit with Seller Central and issues with maybe a suspension or there's suppression for some reason, and you're not getting any answers out the morons at support. How much real work is involved on Walmart on a daily basis once you're up and running?
So it's going to depend on which platform you're on. So if you're a marketplace seller, for the purposes of this conversation, there's going to be a little bit less daily work and maintenance that you need to do, because suppressions and suspensions, things like that, happen a little bit less on Walmart, significantly less on Walmart than they do on Amazon, assuming, you know, you're shipping on time and you're doing those types of things. You don't really get dinged as much on Walmart as you would, let's say, on Amazon, flagging you for an erroneous keyword that a competitor put in your back end. It doesn't happen on Walmart. I would also say a lot of people have the misnomer from a ranking standpoint. You need to copy your titles from Amazon and content over to Walmart, and you think you'll be successful. No,
it's duplicate content as well.
Yeah, exactly. The content and the style guide on Walmart is very different. And I think a lot of people fail to realize that to rank well on Walmart as well. But to answer your question, I would say, depending on whether you're enrolled in WFS, Walmart Fulfillment Services, like FBA, the daily management employs more customer service on the Walmart side, because and what's beautiful about the Walmart side is you get the customer data. Like, you literally get their cell phone number. So if you want to do manage chat flows and all that, it could be a great acquisition channel if you're treating it correctly. But it's more customer service and fulfillment, those types of things. It's not really ongoing optimization or daily maintenance of the listings, depending on what volume you're selling on Marketplace. Now, on the 1P side, there's a lot of issues with technical troubleshooting, matching up with the setup because of store versus online. Is it available, shipped to home? Do you have replenishment turned on? Stockouts, what FCs? I mean, there's a myriad of things that you'd have to take care of if you're a 1P Omni provided .com seller versus a 3P .com seller.
So with the vendor side, because obviously on Amazon, it can be very painful for people to be on the vendor side of Amazon, because, you know, when they're nickel and diming and they're ordering 2 units here, 5 there, and then you're raising all the POs, and then you've got catalog contributions that have to be removed in order to get your listings back and them changing it. Obviously, you take care more of the vendor side. There's more features and stuff, but it's a managed vendor side, right? Whereas it's not like on Amazon. In most cases, it's Amazon manages the vendor side, but the account manager disappears. But on the vendor side, from what you're doing, is it a lot less painful to deal with in terms of POs and stuff like that? Is the structure very different?
It's quite similar, actually, but it is just as painful on the Walmart side. I mean, a lot of our team would probably be yelling at me. Yes, Darren, it's very painful because on a daily basis, if you can get hold of that vendor manager, because like Amazon, you know, they're managing in some categories. You've got somebody in Walmart that they just hired out of college who's managing a $50 billion category for Walmart, or billions of dollars in POs or vendors, hundreds of vendors. So getting a hold of them, and then even if they know what to do when you get a hold of them, which we've experienced in some cases they're not even trained on, it can be very cumbersome and difficult to manage on a regular basis. Now,
sorry, I have to ask the hard questions, but then you're fulfilling the service to deal with the hard questions anyway.
Yeah, that's correct, because we have the skill sets to tell them, hey, go here, do this. If you log in here, here's how you do it, or we can help train them or provide the solution to it. We've got an amazing team that helps with that technical troubleshooting. But yes, to your point, like Amazon, sometimes it can be difficult to get a hold of someone or get that notice or get that attention, depending on the size of your brand within Walmart's ecosystem.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Is there anything we've missed off here? We kind of covered, we've gone over reviews. Let's talk reviews.
Yep.
The comparison between the two platforms, we already know about Amazon, but what does it differentiate in terms of Walmart review acquisition, the TOS, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, much easier today to get reviews. I encourage all sellers, if you're just launching on Walmart, to your point earlier about how to launch organically, you can get reviews a lot faster and easier just by syndicating your reviews from your website over to your Walmart.com launch today, which is in terms of service. You can get typically merchants and Walmart like to see about 25 reviews, 4 stars and above to be deemed part of higher listing content quality score ratings. That's one way. The other is review generation, where you can work with, different third-party service providers to do that. And then lastly, there's different organic ways when you're launching, right? If you have a list, et cetera, to generate. The other beauty, Danny, that's still terms of service, that's amazing to me. You can go in and leave a review on anybody's listing on Walmart, even if you haven't purchased it, like non-verified. They haven't got to verified versus non-verified just yet as significantly as Amazon has. So those are the few of the ways that you can get reviews on the platform.
Yeah. So effectively, starting now, grandfathering yourself in, get a shit ton of reviews because you're investing in the future as a channel. In 2 or 3 years, as the market share possibly, and it would look like to go that way, opens up, it's like being on Amazon in 2010 with that product, 2012, 14.
Yeah, totally. Yes. When you get reviews, we all remember it was so easy to get reviews back then. But
you have 50 reviews in like a week or less. Or some people do it at super scale. But
you could purchase them back then. It wasn't a big deal 10 years ago, and Amazon couldn't care. So yes, on Walmart is a lot easier, and there's so many different ways to generate reviews. I highly encourage you as part of your launch. I failed to mention organically. Yes, generate reviews. It's easy. Syndicate. There's a ton of tools out there, and Walmart's website, Danny, like their marketplace site, shout out to them. Like they've got a great set of tutorials and tools and features. Like you can learn a lot just on their website without needing to go on YouTube or podcasts, et cetera. Like you can launch very easily if you just follow their guidance and their steps there. So shout out to the Walmart marketplace team for putting that out there.
Sounds good. Anything we've missed off to wrap up on these points?
No, I would say that the biggest thing that's missing is content from a ranking standpoint.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah, one thing we haven't covered, because Walmart got rid of their A+ or below the fold content last year when they revamped the site. It's coming back in the next 30 days. You will see below the fold content on more listings as that comes back. For SEO purposes, it's still debatable how well that works for you, but taking advantage of that if you can it's quite costly because you have to use a syndication service like Salsify, Syndigo, et cetera, to do that. But content and discoverability and the relation between the two is important. Getting your image right, using the style guide. You can do videos on your Walmart.com listings today still. So content is still very key. You and I both know 80% of online shoppers are reading with their eyes. Doesn't matter what platform. So I would argue like content is another big thing Walmart sellers negate when they're doing their listings or optimizing things.
Yeah. So there's probably a market here for copywriters that focus on Walmart as well, because the style guides are different. So when people are launching, do you have a team that are dedicated to Walmart copy versus Amazon and the attribution, how it's distributed?
Absolutely. We have shout out to Jennifer and Karen and our copy and creative team. We have a full in-house copy and creative team that does the imagery. We do some static videos. But we do, yes, copywriting, they've had to learn is very different style guide-wise versus Amazon, and we've adapted to that to help with optimization. Yeah,
because we mentioned earlier on, you shouldn't, two reasons. One, it's a different platform, but two, you should never copy the same title across to another platform because it's duplicate content. So.
Yeah, well, that, and now Walmart is actually going back and flagging you for some of that because they don't want those long titles like Amazon has. They don't want your keyword stuffing in the titles. Going back to the algorithm part, Walmart is ranking you more on the back end and the optimization of your actual product listings, not your titles necessarily, as a key part of their ranking. There.
Okay. Yeah, so there's not necessarily a hierarchy of weight as you go down through from title, bullet points, back end.
Not yet. I think they're slowly, with the new Project Blast and the new site, they're starting to revamp things because they realize if they want to scale, they've got to automate those rankings better. There's a few tools out there. I don't know if you've heard of like Data Sparks or Celebrate, or these are small tools. Helium 10 obviously is putting their keyword ranking.
They've had additionally to that, haven't they? So it's in there.
Yeah, but we've actually analyzed some of the data from Helium 10 versus what we're actually seeing with our clients. Like, because of our tool that we use for advertising, we can see where you're ranking, and it's still quite off, right? In some cases, but there's directionally, I would say, in fairness to Helium 10, directionally there's some accuracy there, which is interesting for people to play around with. Yeah,
so give them a bit of guidance. It's in the ballpark, but there's some more refinements to it. I think it's in beta. It hasn't been out long, has it?
They released it late last year. They've been talking about it more. Bradley's been pushing it. Again, I love that they're focusing on it and putting the tool out there. It's great for sellers to use and focusing the data. But even their X-ray tool for estimated sales for Walmart, we've looked. It's like heavily off in most cases.
Yeah. But if you, as we say about the weight distribution, because things like this takes time to revise until you get like more and more dialed in. But what it does, it gives you an attribution of size rather than the exact figures.
That's correct. I mean, it's just like we're all loving seeing Amazon release all these new tools. Great job by Sharon on your team. I love that podcast you did on the search query, the two different podcasts. Yeah. That's interesting to see comparatively. Now we can see the data sets of what's happening with these third parties versus actual data.
Which is a good thing, because something like Helium 10 can use that data to refine what they're doing as well. So absolutely, it's sweet, isn't it? So
I think it's great. I think it's helpful for all the way around. And I think Helium 10 adds a lot of value in that scenario as well, if you use it correctly, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. What's the best way that people can reach you?
Well, they can email me directly, Darren@bendocommerce.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, Darren Saul, anytime. Happy to help, or just love being a part of the community, and shouting out to Walmart.com as an opportunity for all of our listeners.
Great. Guys, 30 days out now from Branded by Women and Seller Sessions Live. Go to brandedbywomen.com or live.sellersessions.com. You can grab tickets there. There's a coupon code 10% off for 10 SSL and 10 BBW. I'll be back here again tomorrow. Take care of yourself and your family. Much love, and I'll see you again soon.